Further ado, Dr. Rob Bell.
In 1966 season, the Green Bay Packers won the first ever Super Bowl. In the 67 season, the Green Bay Packers won the second Super Bowl. 68, it was the Jets. 69, it was the Chiefs. 70, it was the Colts. 71, it was the Cowboys. 72 was the Dolphins. 73 was the Dolphins. 74 was the Steelers, 75 was the Steelers, 76 it was the Raiders, 77 was the Cowboys, 78 was the Steelers, 79 was the Steelers, 1980 it was the Raiders, 1981 was the 49ers, 82 was the Redskins, 83 was the Raiders, 84 was the 49ers, 1985 Chicago Bears, 86 was the Giants.
I love this.
87 was the Redskins, 88 was the 49ers, 89 was the 49ers. 1990 was the Giants, 91 was the Redskins, 92 was the Cowboys, 93 was the Cowboys, 1994 was the 49ers, 95 was the Cowboys, 1996 it was the Packers, 97 was the Broncos, 98 was the Broncos, 99 it was the Rams, 2000 was the Ravens, 2001 was the Patriots, 2002 the Buccaneers, 2003 the Patriots, 2004 the Patriots, 2005 the Steelers, 2006 Indianapolis Colts. 2007 it was the Giants, 2008 was the Steelers, 2009 was the Saints, 2010 was the Packers, 2011 was the Giants, 2012 was the Ravens, 2013 the Seahawks, 2014 the Patriots, 2015 the Broncos, 2016 the Patriots, and 2017 the Eagles. Thank you guys for having me. Have a great dinner. I appreciate that.
Hey, welcome to Leaders Lead the podcast. You are in for a special treat. We have none other than Dr. Rob Bell. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? It fired me up, buddy.
Oh,
a
dude.
few years ago now, but I love seeing that.
I love it. I knew where you were getting at. We're not going to go over the bio. We already got that posted, man. I want to get straight to it.
Yeah,
the mental toughness. Where were you getting at when you were telling, and how the hell do you remember all that?
So that was in front of like all the strength coaches in the NFL, right? I mean, head strength coaches, assistant strength coaches. And I'm going into this talk thinking, I'm like, you got to grab them, right? You got to grab them and you got to be able to tell them that you know what you're talking about. So I'm like, I'm trying to think in my head. So I'm like, well, I know every Super Bowl champ. I mean, I went through every Super Bowl champ looking at what was a common theme amongst teams that were successful, right? And so I went through every one. I was like, man, I'm just going to hit him with this, and then tease out what was that one common thread amongst every champ, and that's what I hit him with, and that's why it ended up being such a good talk, man. Do you want to know the common thread?
Yeah, what's the common thread?
All right, I'll give this one to you. So it's had nothing to do with coach, had nothing to do with offense, had nothing to do with defense, right? Some teams great offense, some teams great defense. Nothing to do with quarterbacks. Sometimes they're rookie quarterbacks. The only common theme was this. Every single team, so the Dolphins were the only team to go undefeated, right? Only team. Every single team had that one loss, that one setback that was so painful, Tony, that they said, that's it, no more. And so the Dolphins, theirs happened in the Super Bowl the year before. They never even scored a touchdown. They got embarrassed. And they showed up with renewed vigor and enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And they said, man, we're running the table. Every single team had that. And that's why, look, it's not about the setback. It's always about the comeback. But it's that loss, right? It's that pain that galvanized the team. It's the only thing I could find that every Super Bowl champ had in common.
Wow. So it was the loss. It had nothing to do with their pedigree as far as as far as them being athletic. It had nothing to do with draft picks or anything like that. It was the loss.
Always came back to that, and that's where I think, like in life, like our own lives, right? The real gift that we can be given is being told, although it's so painful, it's being told by somebody, that's a dumb idea, you can't do it. Because then where are we? Everyone that's been successful was told that. And if we approach it like a gift, even though it's painful, it's so painful, nobody wants to be told that, but it's a fish or cut bait moment, right? You can't be on the fence. You're either going to agree with that negative voice and that person telling you that you can't do it, or your circumstance telling you can't do it, or you're going to believe in yourself. A lot of people turn it into proving them wrong, and that works, man, but it's really about proving yourself right. And that's the part that becomes so powerful, man. And it's always getting back. Look, it's not about the setbacks that happen. It's always about the comeback.
Always about the comeback. I find that interesting, the way that you tied that in, as far as the loss, right? The loss is what helps you gain. And that's one thing that I tell my network. All my content is about freaking don't give up, even if you failed, even if you're on the ground, like keep getting the hell back up, because life is not going to be easy, right? Life is not going to be easy. The things that you want, they're not going to be easy to obtain, but you have to keep fighting. You have to fall in love with the process. And that's one thing that I know you talk about, process over product.
That's right.
Right. Process over product. What does that mean? Process over product.
So in saying that the process is more important than the product, it takes nothing away from the product, right? Every one of us wants to be on top of that mountain. We want to be on the mountaintop. But let's use the mountaintop as an example, right? We talk about, and you're going to hear it, well, climbing the mountain. Look, it takes months and months of preparations, thousands of dollars to climb and to prepare for Mount Everest, right? 29,000 feet. Not one of the things that I want to do, but
me neither.
But it takes, months and months of doing it. You spend all that time in that process, and you know how long they're on top of Mount Everest?
How long?
10 minutes. 10 minutes at most. They got to get back down, right? And when do the most of the deaths happen on climbing Mount Everest? It's on the way back down. And
the decline. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is, man. And the part that's so fascinating about that is because we want the mountaintop experience, and it's great. But if you ever look on those mountaintops, man, those high mountaintops, nothing lives up there. Nothing can live up there. We can't live on that mountaintop. And it's always, the real growth always takes place in the valley. And it's going to be are we enjoying that hike? Are we enjoying that process about what we do? If we fall in love with that process, then it really does become just a byproduct of what we're doing. Knowing that along the way, man, that it's going to be tough, it's going to be painful, that the failures that we make bring back all the other past failures that we had in life too, right? When we have a major setback, they get down 7, fall down 7, get up 8. We remember the third and the fourth time that we failed, and then we think like that's our identity. And that's the part that's totally incorrect, man. Our identity is not made to fail. Our identity is to succeed. But we have to be going through that failure and through that process, because only through that, man, do we change as an individual and grow. And that's where the real, process is more important than the product piece.
Wow. So all my folks on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, the things that you're going through right now, Dr. Rob, man, he just dropped some bombs, right? I get notified quite a bit, and notifications on like Facebook and all of that, right? Somebody's going through a hardship, somebody's going through some pain, and usually I'll be screaming like, oh my God, like you don't realize that there's a blessing in this. You don't realize that you have like an opportunity in the things that you're growing through. And the way that you explained that, going up Mount Everest sounds like it's better. Sounds like there's more reward in going up than when you get up. I know you mentioned something before in one of your videos. You were talking about the coaches that get depressed after they win the championship.
Yeah, that's right, man. And that was the key. And I spoke about that at the combine as well. Like Brett Favre, right? Brett Favre, really emotional player. Wins the Super Bowls, holding up the Super Bowl trophy. Now, we have to admit, right, that's got to be the best feeling in the world, right? Holding up the Super Bowl trophy. And he said, I remember thinking, is that it? And I was like, wait a second. Like, what do you mean, is that it? And the reason why he said, is that it, is because it was over and he really didn't want it to end, right? No one's ever going to say, like, losing the Super Bowl is better than winning the Super Bowl. Like, no one's ever going to say, no one's ever going to say that. But so it's taking nothing away from the product. Like, you play to win the game. But the issue is that what he really missed at that moment was knowing that it's over. He missed the practical jokes that they played on coach in week 10. The comeback when they were down 24-10 and they came back to win, the bus rides, the locker rooms. And at that point, it was done. And that's the part that we always cherish. And when we look back on that, man, it's going to be the relationships that we have and who went along with that struggle and how much we overcame to achieve that goal, to achieve that product. And the same thing with the coaches, man. That's why, looking at it, coaches that would win the Super Bowl, they'd go through depression for a month, man. It was because it's so much lead up just to that. I mean, what's every single coach say at the very beginning of the year? Our goal is to win the Super Bowl. The best coaches, that's the goal and that's going to be there.
Yeah.
But it's always getting back to, man, week by week, and how are we strengthening our team and how are we getting better? And I always say, man, when it comes to getting better, we got to be you want to be the best at getting better. Like, you show me somebody that's the best at getting better, I'm going to show you a champion.
Damn. So to me, that's mental toughness is realizing everything that you just packed up there is mental toughness. So this is my thinking as far as what it is that you do. I imagine you going in and talking to a basketball team, baseball team, football team that are going through a slump and they don't believe in themselves. Is that a correct assessment of what it is that you do?
That's definitely part of what I do. I mean, I like to work with teams and to make sure they don't get stuck in those ruts. That's why I like, man, when I'm working with teams, is working with how do we avoid those pitfalls that are going to happen, throughout the season.
Wow. So you're there doing the process. Here we got a question from Gabe. What's up, Gabe? Gabe is in the building. What characteristics define a great leader? What are your thoughts?
Man, that's a good one. Why don't you start off with that one?
I would say, man, it's easy for me. It's like a lead. Like if I go into a grocery store, right, and I see a manager that's showing their employee like where everything is at, and that's like giving them their tips and giving them the tricks, and like giving like we'll turn around and give the customer something. Is a leader is a giver. A leader is a giver, not a taker. You can go into other establishments and you'll see something totally different. You'll know who the leader is, or you know who the manager is, because they're telling you, hey man, I'm the boss. This is me. This is who I am. Right. And what I like in leaders is those type of leaders that you go into an organization and they say, hey, here is so-and-so. They're going to hook you up. They're the best. Right. That's what I like. The leaders that are given and placing their employees or whoever is around them on a pedestal.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. I love it, man. I love it. The only part I can help with that, I mean, not help, but just kind of share with it and dovetail off that was, if we look at John Wooden, who a lot of people say was best basketball coach, they broke down what part was like his motivation, what part was his criticism, and really the majority of his coaching was what you were saying, man. It was instruction, so being able to teach people and help them along the way, man. That's what I think great leader does.
Wow. I love it. What about as far as the mental toughness? What are the core principles that you teach when you're going through the process with some of these teams and some of these individuals?
Yeah. So I basically say this is like mental toughness. It's not going to win us anything, right? If just because you're mentally tough isn't going to win you anything. But if you don't have mental toughness, it will lose it for you, because at those moments that you're going to need it the most, that's the part where we're not going to rise up. And I think mental toughness, if you look at it, there's tons of definitions that are going to be out there, tons of people that throw it around. The way I look at mental toughness, I mean, very simple, right? I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy, man, cash and carry. It's mental toughness is how we deal, handle,
That
and
was
cope.
slick. I like that, bro.
Yeah. It's how we deal, handle, and cope with the setbacks in life. How do we handle the adversity? That's all it is. The other part about mental toughness, especially when it comes to high level athletics, is how well we perform under pressure. And so if that's the case, right, like we can't be mentally tough if there's not adversity that's going to be present. And really, man, that's the part where, where are the pitfalls in our own mind? Do we become a victim, right? Do we start to blame? Like, do we, not want to put ourselves out there? We all have the demons, right? But everyone's demon's going to be a little bit different. And really, it's just coming back to, man, how do we deal with that adversity? That's all mental toughness is.
Wow. I love it, man. So what type of adversity would you say that you've been through to get you to the point of where you are today?
Yeah, it's a good point, man. Let me answer that one because I want to add mental toughness is certainly not all or nothing, right? It's not like I have it or I don't. It's how much. And it can be on different ways, right? Like if you can be an individual that can let go of mistakes, that's mental toughness, right? I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy. I need somebody to help pick me up and help me to let go of mistakes. You could be the individual though that never ever gives up, right? That's me. That's the strength that I'm a big part of, right? The discipline, man, that motivation. You could be the individual who totally believes in themselves, believes in themselves before even trying something. Then that's part of mental toughness. And you can be the individual, man, where maybe the belief's not strong, maybe you don't let go of mistakes well, but man, when you are focused, like you are focused and dialed in, right? You have that vision about where it is that you want to go. So it can be all kind of different ways in terms of, hey, what is our strength when it comes to mental toughness? The setback that happened in my life happened because I was a knucklehead, man. I was playing baseball, and this is back in college, and I was partying as hard as I could. And when I got to college, there was partying as hard as I could. There was no accountability. What could possibly go wrong? And for some reason, we were partying near this bridge. It was after midnight. I ended up walking off an 80-foot cliff. I didn't jump, wasn't pushed. I just absolutely had no idea where I was. And I'm laying at the bottom of this crevasse, man. My back's fractured. I've got a broken arm, a gaping head wound, and they craned me up out of it. I'm unconscious during the whole time. They craned me up out of it where my mom, taken to the hospital where my mom's a nurse, right? This happens on a Friday, man. She's the oldest of 11 Catholic family. No sympathy on me, Tony, whatsoever, man. I'm back to school Monday. And now I'm that guy.
Whoa.
That guy. That's the guy that fell off the cliff right there. Like, you never want to be that guy. And then that was the end of baseball. Boom. Hinge moment, man, because I had no idea what it was I was going to do. And I was in a lot of pain. And I messed up, man. I blew it. And later on, I made the commitment that, if you get a second chance, man, you're not going to blow it. And, every one of us has sort of these cliff moments, that happen in life, man, where there is absolutely no outcome. There's no way out. And the beauty about it is no matter how bleak it looks, man, it only takes one. It takes one person, right, to say, nah, man, you can do that. It takes one moment, one event to turn everything around. That's what we're getting ready for, and that's what we're preparing for. And so that experience about falling off a cliff, it was the worst part of my life. It ended up being the best part. And if we look at it, everybody's worst moment ends up becoming their best moment. As painful as it is, because it shapes us into who we're going to become.
Wow. You talked about a hinge moment. That was one part when I was doing, I'll be honest, I was just say research. I stalked you a little bit, bro. You grabbed my attention when you brought up the hinge, the hinge moment. And I never heard it put the way that you put it. Can you explain a little bit as far as the hinge moments? Because it impacted me, man. For the moment that I was watching it, I was like, damn, that's a way to really, really look at some of life situations, hinge moments.
Absolutely, man. I mean, if you look at any door, every door has a hinge. If we hear about doors opening and closing in life, Tony, I mean, doors open and close, it's because of the hinge. If you ever hear of a rusty door, it's not the door that's rusty at all, man. It's the hinge that gets rusty. So what's the hinge in our lives? The hinge in our lives, it's going to be that moment, person, or decision that makes all the difference. Connects who we are with who we're going to become. We just don't know when that's coming. We can't connect the dots in life looking forward. We have no idea how this mystery is going to work out. We can only connect the dots looking backwards and seeing the impact that one coach had on us.
Yeah.
That one decision to turn left instead of going right. The one catch of the ball that we had. And since we're not going to know the impact of these hinge moments sometimes weeks, months, years later, only looking backwards can we see the impact of them. But the part that I know, and I said this, man, is that no matter how bad our situation is, the importance about mental toughness is it only takes one. It only takes one. It's only going to take one play, one person to make all the difference in our lives. We just don't know when that's coming. But when our moment hits, it's too late to prepare. Like those are the moments that we have to be ready for that, right? Screw it, man. I'm going to go ask her out, or I'm going to go out there and ask for the sale. Whatever it is, man, those are the moments. Knowing that if it doesn't happen, it wasn't our hinge moment. And the other part about that is, tragedies that happen in our lives, they're immediate hinges, because from that moment on, everything's different. Death, cancer, significant injuries, pandemics. From that moment on, buddy, everything is different. And we can see those immediate hinge moments that happen in our lives. And sometimes we have no control over them. And then what happens after, and how do we deal and handle and cope with it? That's where mental toughness then comes right back into play.
Wow. So you're saying no matter what tragedy we're going through or just went through, that there is a bright side, that there's an opportunity within that tragedy.
Absolutely, man. And as painful as it is, and I look at people that have lost loved ones, that have lost kids, the biggest tragedies that there are, man, how can these people stay connected with one another?
Yeah.
And it's only talking with them, man, do you see like their level of perspective in life. And these are the people, man, that give so much, and they realize that love becomes the answer. Love and relationships, those are the things that really matter.
Wow. It's hard, man. It's hard. I know I've been through a bunch of different things in my life, dark freaking times. And you're right. It's during those times where shit just starts shifting. I keep my head down no matter how sad those moments are, how difficult those times are. I keep working and I look up and I'm just like, damn, dude, I can't believe that this is happening. That still sucked, but this space that I'm in right now is really good. And I can think about, within the last 2 years, a year and a half of my life, like nothing to do with the pandemic, has probably been one of the worst times in my life. Some things that have happened inside of my life that I would have never thought would happen. And there's sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm just like, how the hell are you still here? And you're right. I look in not just the mirror, but I look into like myself and I look at the things that I've done throughout that time. And I'm like, I'm still here and I'm like thriving because I didn't fucking give up.
That's right, man.
I didn't give up. Just like you, when you're in the bottom of that freaking ravine, what was it? 80 feet you fell?
Yeah.
80 feet in the bottom. Did you think you were going to die?
Well, I was conscious during the whole time. You know what I mean?
That's probably worse, huh?
It gave me the perspective, though. I was very thankful for it because it gave me the perspective of like the pain and going through it and how I was saved. And it strengthened my faith in God, man, because God saved me. You know what I mean? There was no real reason why I should have lived through that. And I say this, man, it's like faith. It's not really faith until it's all you got.
Yes.
You can borrow it.
Yes.
You can borrow that one, man. I borrowed it.
I will. I am, dude. I don't
Faith isn't faith until it's all you got.
until it's all you got. That is good stuff, man. And I'm glad that you said that, and I'm glad that you're here today, man, because I feel like this is just what everybody need. Because no matter who you are, you're going through something, right? You're trying to overcome some obstacle. Let's see. Can't only watch. If you're watching this or you're here, let me know if you can see us right now. Let me know. Please let me know if you can see us. If not, Don, I apologize. Don't leave us, though. This is going to be some good stuff. Don't leave us, Don. Let's see. Now that's real talk with Dr. Rob Bell. Yeah, man. That's why I found my man and stalked him. Just going through the comments here. So, yeah, I'm curious. So what, I was looking at your bio. What are some of the teams that you've worked with?
Man, I've been blessed, man, to work with. I've worked with 3 different winners on the PGA Tour. Worked with University of Notre Dame, Olympic silver medalist, Indy 500 champ, USTA champ, all different sports, man. And I love what I do, man. I've been blessed to be able to do it. So, yeah, I've written 7 books on mental toughness. I've got the idea now for the 8th that came through my training just for like this past race that I did. And so I like to be a product of the product, man. I'm good at never giving up. So I like to do races that really emphasize never giving up. And I got my participation trophy right here from this last week, man. This was
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I like that. I've never seen a coin that shape. That's pretty cool. Is it?
Yeah, it's a belt buckle.
Oh, that's awesome.
100 miler.
Where you're out there with David Goggins.
That was it, man. Yeah. Not as fast as him, but yeah, it was 100 miler for sure, man.
Wow. 100 miles. Where at?
So that was northern Indiana at State Park up there. So a lot of hills. It was muddy, wet, and you just keep moving, man. And what was interesting was, I came across people that had given up, and they had given up, and they had kind of said, "Yeah, I'm going to be done like at this point." And I tried, Tony. I tried to say something real quick, like, man, you just make it to the tree, right? It's all you got to do, make it to the tree, and then you make it to the turn. Left foot, right foot, whatever it is that you can get going. And I couldn't reach him, and it bothered me, man. It really bothered me because I wanted to be able to reach him, but in that moment too, if I hung around them for too long, it was going to bring me down. Because here, man, I got 50 more miles to run. I can't be stuck in like this negativity of wondering, because quitting and stopping, well, it sounded like a good idea, but I know who I'm going to wake up with the next morning, and that's me, and I would hate myself for it. So it's like, but just seeing the process that they kind of go through, it has to be, and this is what I believe, it has to be your mindset, no matter the endeavor that we're going into, has to be your mindset that you're never going to give up. Once that becomes the mindset, there are no other options, man. You've taken everything else off the table, and then you're all in. And that's what I say, man. You're either all in or you're in the way. If it's half in, we're just going to see how this goes for 6 months. It's never going to work, man. You got to be all in. Then it can work.
Burn the boats, right?
You got to burn the boat.
So when you were running, did you have that thought when you were kind of, mile 50 and that would have been me. I would have been like, hey, Rob, this has been good, dude. I can't believe I ran 50 miles. This sucks. My shin's hurting. Like in that moment, did you think, damn, I got to get away from, I got to get away from these people? Or was it after, when you're like, okay, that was an obstacle for me kind of thing?
It was, man. And I'm not going to lie. Like, it was tough. And at the same time, I want to be able to help them. But, the most difficult thing that I can do is think about the end, because that's another 50 miles away, man. You know what I mean? You got to reset and refocus on, right, make it to the tree. You got to focus on just this stretch that you've got there. So they had like, and it was looped. That was the difficult part. So when people came to the start finish, You got to head back out. People only ran 50 miles, and they were talking about the burger they were going to have. Boy, that sounded good, man. Let me tell you, 8 o'clock at night, and now it's dark, and now I got to head back out there for another 50. The mind, tries to play tricks on you, man. And that's what the mind does. The mind has one job. And that's where I think if we can understand that, we can accomplish a whole lot. But the mind's job is just to keep you safe. Doesn't care about you reaching your goals, doesn't care about you being the best that you can be, wants to keep you safe. Well, what's the safest way is, well, shut it down, don't keep running. But that's not going to help me get to where I want to go. And so to be able to combat that, and it's just getting back to, the next mile, man, this piece right in front of you. And to meet then the flip side of that, to see people who persevered and overcame it and the pain that they were going through, and they would not be denied, man. The human spirit, and we see the human spirit on display. That's the point where I think, man, it's so easy to be able to love on other people. And seeing that is what was the real blessing, that I got to be a part of it and be able to witness it, and take part and be able to do it. But at no time did I think I wasn't going to finish, man. I was going to die. I was going to die, or I was going to finish that race. And that's basically it.
Damn. Dude, that's deep, bro. That's deep.
But here's the thing, right? The process more important than the product. This was a sub 29-hour race. But man, I had been training for 9 months for this sucker. You know what I mean? I mean, every morning, man, at 5:30, basically going to be there on the trail, run the marathon. In all my trainings, man, I puked and rallied 14 different times. I went through a part of the training, man, where I was like, Tony, I don't know if I can do this, because, I couldn't. I mean, anything past 50, man, was into the abyss. I had no idea what was going to happen there. And,
because you hadn't trained over 50, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really tough to, train over 50. 50 was the longest I had done. Now I did, back-to-back marathons on the trails, but, so to kind of get a feeling of what it is. But when you're out there and you got, the hydration and nutrition piece that really becomes depleted, you don't know what's going to happen. But it's the process of everything that went into it that led to me being able to finish it, man.
Wow. I love that, man. You inspired the hell out of me, man. As before we started, I was telling you, we had just moved into a new studio here, and we're getting everything together, my wife and I. And today, man, I had one of those moments where I'm like, man, nothing's up. There's still so much to do. And I'm just like, just kind of losing my mind a little bit. But I love the way you put, fall in love with the process. And that's one thing that I'm trying to do. Every single thing, whether it's, hanging a TV, whether it's hanging freaking pictures, posters, it's like, it's all part of the process, and it shouldn't be so daunting. So if you're watching this, you're listening to this, like, pick that up. Part of the process is all part of the process. Fall in love with the process, and not so much the progression, right? The after the fact. I love that. We got some comments. Yeah, I would like to see it. All right, puke and rally. Let's talk a little bit about puke and rally. It looked like my friend Ashton wants the book. Let's go ahead and get into that part. Puke and rally.
Yeah, puke and rally, man. It's but I just kind of mentioned it, man. I mean, it was it's not about the setback, it's about the comeback. The fact of, look, we've all thrown up in life, right? Every single one of us has thrown up. And what happens when we throw up, though, right? Well, we feel better, don't we? I mean, that's the point about throwing up, man. There's some like rats lack the ability to throw up. That's why rat poison is so effective, because they can't.
I thought it was crazy. You made me think about when I was in the Marine Corps. They would say, drink beer all night, and then you throw up and you feel better and you start over again. So there's
and this is like the point of like the book was, these puke moments can be any kind of failure, it can be, when we're told by a teacher that you're not good enough, when our circumstances telling us that we're not going to be successful, those are puke moments. And then what does it take to rally? And so what I've discovered, and I know this to be a fact, right, is, and let's just look at New Year's resolutions for a second, right? We set these New Year's resolutions. The reason why they fail is because we have the best of intentions. And, man, we're going to go to the gym, and that's what we're doing. And we're going to the gym every day, and man, we're cooking. And it's like, yes, right, I got it. And then bam, life happens.
Yeah.
Kid gets sick, and then we miss a day. And then this becomes what's so important is once we miss a day, we miss another. And then we start throwing up our hands saying, see, I know I couldn't do it. Screw it. I blew it. We're on that diet, man. We're doing good. And then bam, we eat that piece of cake. And then what happens?
I might as well eat more.
Yeah. Internally, right? We're like, might as well eat the whole damn cake. And if we could realize that these are just mistakes, it's not part of who we are and our identity. And if we could just be able to overcome that one time we missed, or the one piece of cake, doesn't mean that if we get a flat tire on our way to Chicago that we turn around and head back. We change the tire and we keep going. And that's what we really have to overcome is those small mistakes, that they don't infiltrate our belief in where we're trying to go, because bad stuff's going to happen. Okay, I missed the gym. Can I make it back tomorrow? And that's what really becomes important. And then it's getting back to our identity and what we really believe in ourselves, man. And then the real blessing that we have in our life is going to be when someone tells us you can't do it. You're not good enough. That's a bad idea. That's actually the real blessing that we have in life, man, because then it's, like I said before, buddy, that's the real moment of we're either going to listen to that negative voice or we're going to listen to ourselves.
Oh, wow. Man, I like you, Rob. You're a cool dude. Where you from, man?
My man. Oh, I grew up in Maryland.
You grew up in Maryland. Oh,
Yeah.
Good deal. Is that where you're at right now?
No, I live in Indianapolis now, man. Yeah. So we moved
Are you serious?
to the Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indianapolis, great city, man. I love it here.
Yeah, good deal, man. I'm actually from Gary. We just moved from Fishers probably about 2 years ago.
Man, we never connected when we were here together.
No, that's funny. That's funny. Where can we find Puke and Rally?
Yeah, pukeandrallybook.com or on my website, drrobbell.com, man. Those are two great spots.
All right. You heard that for everybody that's looking and want to read the book, Puke and Rally, man. I'm looking forward to reading it. Do you have it on audiobook?
I'm doing an audiobook right now. So I'm actually creating that. Yeah, man. So it's working. And, Kenny Aronoff was John Mellencamp's drummer. He wrote the foreword in it. And, if someone picks up the book, man, just read the foreword or read the first chapter, see if that one grabs you. Cause it's a powerful story about how he was told, you're not going to do it, and how he persevered and overcame.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to read that, man. I was told by a school counselor that not only was I not going to graduate middle school, but I wouldn't graduate high school, and that I was probably going to be a failure, which was really something really weird to tell a kid. But then you think about it, you got adults that tell other adults that all the time, like you can't do that, or you're not going to do this. You can't do, like, you ever got somebody telling you as an adult what you can and what you can't do?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah. And that was, I hold those people, and I create that little space mentally where I have them in there, where if I start dogging it, or, if I'm not pushing it, man, if I'm not grinding, I think about that voice. And that voice, it's like lighter fluid on that campfire, man. I just spray it on there and it fires it up. Now, I can't live in that spot, right? I can't allow them a big space. They've got a little closet in my head, that I just open it if I need it, but they stay right in there. Because if they're occupying my whole mind, then, I'm kind of messed up, man. I think the love and community and relationships have to be first and foremost. But I keep them in there, man, because those are the ones that that told me I wasn't going to do it.
Wow.
And now it becomes a big motivator. You know, they help me.
Wow. You
You look at it, and I challenge anybody, please send me somebody who has been successful that was told that, you know, was never told that you weren't good enough. Every single one of them. So why is it? Why was that the factor, right? Because of what we said, man. There's no ambiguity when it comes to that. We can't be on the fence. Now, unfortunately, that many people have been destroyed by those type of comments as well. But that's why we're having this type of conversation, to realize that when you are told that, now it becomes a decision about what you're going to do with it. That you either believe it or you're going to really believe in yourself. And who we surround ourselves with, man, and the messages that we listen to become so important, because we listen to that on a daily basis. Yeah, it's going to wear us out, man. It's going to say, well, quit here at mile 50.
Yeah.
And then we think it's a good idea.
Yeah. No, I believe in that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. That's why there's some people, they'll call and I only can take a little bit of the, oh, woe is me. Like when me and you got on here, what was I listening to?
Oh, E.T., man. Yeah. Yeah. Fired up, bud.
Yeah. I didn't even know you had jumped on, but yeah, I'm listening to it because, man, that's the positivity.
Right.
That's the positivity, man. You look at social media, there's a lot of negativity. Freaking, I choose the positivity. What about, I was going to ask you this, the 75 hard challenge. You ever did that?
I've got friends that have done it. And I like the overall concept of it. Because to do something every single day, man, is tough. I have not done it just because I've been training for the race, man. So I might, just depends.
You probably do it. You probably do it unconsciously. You probably do it already. You could probably check the boxes. How often do you work out? And now I'm just being nosy.
Oh, I work out every day.
Every single day.
Yeah, every single day. Or if I'm writing a book, man, I write every single day. Now, there are some days, again, where life happens and comes into play, but I'm an early morning guy, man. I like to get it done and get that win early on. So I'm always,
what time do you wake up?
4:45.
4:45.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now this week, because it's been a little bit of recovery week from the race, man, I've been sleeping in until 6:30 and just trying to allow myself to recover. But yeah,
So
I love getting after it, man.
You're pretty tough, dude. 4:45. Have you always woke up that early?
No, of course not. I think it's just, now it becomes sort of like second nature, man. I just love getting up that early. And there's nothing, I mean, I can't tell you the amount of sunrises that I got to see on the trails when I was running. And that's, man, that was like the real blessing out of everything. You know what I mean? To be out there by yourself, doing something tough and to see, the new day come up, man. It's tough to explain, man, but that was nirvana to me, man. I mean, that was heaven.
Yeah,
Beautiful, I mean, to be out there, in prayer and conversation with yourself, man, and just still and in the moment doing something tough, man. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I love that. It's something majestic about being out in the morning, because I ride my bike, and the times when I can get out there and do it at like 5 and 6, you see certain things on a bike or on foot that early in the morning that you're never going to see in a car or at 10 and 12 o'clock. Like you see some crazy, like I've seen deer just kind of laying there sleep. They look over at you like, man, what are you doing here? I've seen friggin' owls. I've seen fox. Like I've seen like some pretty cool stuff in the city between the hours of like 5 and 6. For it looked like we got a lot of people watching us right now. For those folks that are like, man, I really want some of the Dr. Rob Bell toughness. How would they go about reaching out to you?
Always on my website, man. I got a newsletter goes out every Friday. A podcast, 15 minutes of mental toughness. By my website, drrobbell.com, man. It's always the best way. Always on Instagram, man. I've become, an addict to that one.
To Instagram?
Yeah, it used to be Twitter. But yeah, I mean, I love posting stuff on that. And it's what you said was so important, Tony. It's like, we gotta marinate our mind with the positivity and success and the can-do attitude. If we allow that negativity, that's why I just personally, I can't handle sports talk radio anymore, and I can't handle the news. I just can't handle it, man, because I'm into that spot. Again, I know what's going on, like I'm still in touch. But once I start getting into that, man, my mood changes, my attitude changes.
Me too.
And I just personally can't handle it. And so I have to be able to pick and choose what it is that I read. But it's so easy to go down that hole, man. And then that's why I think we got to marinate our mind with, man, who are we listening to? Who are we paying attention to? Who are we allowing to coach us up? And the more and more that we get in that mindset, buddy, now we start attempting different challenges, right? Now we start challenging ourselves. Now we start putting ourselves out there. And then that's where the process comes into play, man. Now we start to become a different human being, and we leave our old habits and our old ways behind.
Wow. So do you do one-on-one coaching just for regular folks not in the NBA, NFL?
Yeah, I do, man. I've got my executives definitely I coach one-on-one, and blessed to have a couple people that work for me, man. So they take a lot of like the youth athletes that we've got. And yeah, it's the best part, man. I absolutely love it. Because with coaching, they help me out more than I help them. That's the ironic thing.
Wow, why is that? That's
I don't
interesting.
know, man. It's the same thing as like volunteering, right? I mean, we volunteered. I've never left a volunteer experience saying, boy, man, those kids are just so lucky I was here to help them. I never say that. I say the exact opposite, right, man? Those kids gave me more than I think I gave them, right? What they gave me perspective, man. They made me feel young. They gave me an appreciation for my own problems, man. I'll gladly take that back. They teach us more than we teach them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. As we close, I want to ask you if you could say some words for those folks that are out there watching this and they're going through a tough time and they're just like, Dr. Rob Bell, man, I get what you're saying, but dude, it's too hard, man. I don't know how to get through it.
Yeah, man. It's difficult because everyone's experience brings them to where they are. And too often what I think is we look back on the times when we failed and the times we fell short, and we think that that's how it is and that's how it's going to be. And we have to get in touch with where we are. So first, what we got to do is we got to let it go. We got to let go of that hatred. We got to let go of that past. And the other part that we can do is, because what I believe is that when we let it go, it lets go of us. And then the other thing that we can't do, man, is be focusing on the finish line. We can't think too far ahead. We got to root and ground ourselves in today. And what am I doing today? What's my plan? Where do I fall short? Do I let a mistake bother me, right? Do I let that negativity bother me? And to be able to get dialed in with focusing just on today, this hour, this moment, and what am I trying to accomplish to get done? We start putting those together, and now we've got traction. Once you get traction, once you get momentum, think about riding a bike. You don't need to keep pedaling all the time. Sometimes the bike pedals itself. And that's what's really important, man, is get rooted in the moment, get rooted in what we're doing. And then it's always getting back to this. No matter how bad it is, it's going to take one moment, one call that you make, one person to turn everything around. That's what we're getting ready for. And when we're ready for it, it's going to show up. And that's the part that I believe. I just know that to be true.
Wow. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule
Absolutely, man.
to come and drop some gems on us, brother. Dude, thank you. For the viewers and listeners. Just here's what I got from listening to Rob, man. You're going through some stuff, right? You're going through some heavy stuff. I think everybody has some obstacles, but you got to stand the fight. You got to stand the fight no matter how hard it gets, no matter freaking how hard the fight is. Like, you got to keep fighting. And that's the only way for you to be able to make it through the situation that you're going through, because that one hinge that one hinge. You have one hinge, and that could be the moment of opportunity that could change your life for the rest of your life. Thank you, Rob, man. I appreciate you, and hang out really quick for me in the green room until we get done.
Oh, I love the green room.
Thanks, right, buddy. Thank you, brother.
Find the good. In every bad situation that happens in life, no matter how tragic it is, there's some good that's going to come out of it. We just don't always know when that is. See, John Starks was really, I mean, he wasn't even a player out of high school. Played at community college in basketball. The only reason why he played 1 year at Oklahoma State was because one coach saw him playing. Finishes school, doesn't even, gets a minor role on the Golden State Warriors, plays a couple of those games, gets cut. And then it gets a tryout with the New York Knicks. Gets a tryout with the New York Knicks. Now 6'3" John Starks has it in his head that he's gonna dunk on 7' Patrick Ewing. During the tryout, John Starks gets that opportunity, goes up, tries dunking on him. Patrick Ewing, not having any of that, rejects him, sends him to the floor. Bam, John Starks hurts his knee. NBA had that rule that they cannot cut an injured athlete. The only reason why John Starks made the Knicks was because he was hurt. When he was rehabbing, they saw this guy's work ethic and how they could shoot. They said, well, let's give him a shot. If there's a epitome if it's mental toughness when it came to the 90s and the Knicks, man, it was John Starks. In every bad situation, some good is going to come out of it.
That was amazing. Tune in tomorrow. Leaders Lead the broadcast and podcast. We got Tara Furiana. She is not your HR lady. She's the author of Fuck Your Office Next. So check us out tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you.